Today, I'm gonna tell you how to become the Don Juan of nipples and give her an amazing nipple-gasm. Yes, I said it, they are real, they are spectacular, and yes, you can help your partner have them. I am gonna teach you exactly how. One of the coolest things about nipples is that they are connected to your genital cortex, which means that they are naturally wired with your sex organs. In fact, they activate the same part of the brain as genital stimulation does. So stimulating them actually does create stimulation for your genitals. And it is totally possible for you to make her come just by playing with her nipples. And admit it, you've kind of always wanted to be the king of nipples, right? Like you've always wanted to just be like magic nipple orgasm and send her like flying across the room wondering what the heck you just did. Like you just unlocked something she didn't even know her body was capable of doing. That shit is cool. All right, here are the 4 things you must know in order to give her an amazing nipple-gasm. First and foremost, you have to understand that nipple orgasms are a marathon, not a sprint. That's right, I'm talking to you, Usain Bolt. You can sit this one out. Your skills are not needed here. For this race, we're gonna need volunteers handing out water along the course and your friends and grandparents cheering you on at the mile 14 mark, like, come on, Matt, you've got this, keep going. Holding up like maybe a giant erect nipple sign. All right, so I put that image in your mind. That is because nipple orgasms are all about extended stimulation. Basically, you gotta start slow and build up. So go ahead and find a comfortable position, hunker down, because you're gonna be there for a while, and get to work. Second, variety. Don't just lick, don't just suck, don't just flick like a light switch. You've got to try a variety of different methods and you've got to do them gently. I think that nipple-gasm and the technique that's required to create it is really a subtle art form. And it's gonna require a little bit of guess and check and experimenting to see what works best for her. Try rubbing, swirling, pinching, licking, maybe some light nibbling if she's into that. Switch back and forth between using your mouth and your fingers. Try a little saliva or some body safe and edible oil. You might even want to bring in the tip of a vibrating toy. Experiment a whole bunch and you will start to find the combination of moves and intensity that make her toes curl and get her to the point of climax. Typically, the more that you vary, the more that you activate the nerves and that genital cortex that we talked about, the more sensation that you can create for her, both in a sort of rhythmic sense and in a novel sense, the closer that she's going to get to orgasming. And you know what? This is actually pretty good advice for using on her clitoris too. So as you are playing with her clitoris, whether that's with your fingers or your mouth, something to keep in mind is that yes, you want a rhythm. You want a rhythm that builds to a climax. And you need to switch it up and vary it up enough that her nerve endings can't actually get used to it. And therefore they're always responding to a new stimulation and they're always responding to a rhythmic repeating stimulation. I mean, are you really surprised by any of this? Making women orgasm is a complicated mix of art and science, but it is so worth it. Also, as with all orgasms, you can make nipple-gasms really explosive by using a process of edging, which is that when it gets really intense and it starts to feel really good and she's close to coming, you back off and slowly build up. Again, I've got tons of videos about edging all of the genitals and now the nipples on my channel. So take a second and make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss any of this tips, tricks, techniques to make your sex life amazing. All right, on to number 3. Surprise, surprise. In order for her to have a nipple-gasm, she has got to be into it. If she does not like having her nipples touched, or she has negative associations with her nipples, or she has an injury or zero sensation, you might be surprised, or maybe you're not surprised. I was surprised by how many people actually have zero sensation in their nipples. It's almost like their brain has just cut these bad boys off of their body. If that's the case for your partner, it's going to be a longer road to getting her to the nipple-gasm. But It is not impossible. There is hope, even if her nipples are numb to sensation, because nipples can be trained. Just like all of the other parts of the body, we can actually create an erotic sensation in the nipples over time. And yes, you can totally do this for your own nipples. Men's nipples actually can also be trained to have a erotic, sexual, pleasurable sensation when they get stimulated by a partner. In fact, gay men have known this since the beginning of time. If you ever see a gay man with like really big nipples protruding through his shirt, like you can see, he's probably really into nipple play. I learned doing research for this video that there is a whole subculture of men that love nipple play, nipple torture. They use clamps and suction toys and even electricity and all sorts of fun stuff. And probably they have more capacity to withstand that because men's shirts are always rubbing up against and causing nipple chafing. And anyways, nipples are great. And I think they're totally underutilized. And I'm really glad that you are with me on this, watching this video so that you can learn how to train those nipples or train her nipples into being sensitive and able to climax. And actually training them is super duper simple. And the way that you do that is to bring nipple play into your regularly scheduled sexual activities. Specifically, I recommend that you try masturbating until you're very aroused, even getting close to coming, and then bring in your nipples. Play with them as you get closer to climax, or play with hers as she gets closer to climax, again, if she's open to doing this with you. Do this regularly and you will start to create a connection between your genitals and climax and your nipples. It's sort of like Pavlov's dogs, you know, the dogs that salivated every time they saw the researcher and heard the click associated with them getting fed. Basically, you're creating that same sort of Pavlovian response with your nipples, meaning that your body begins to associate touching them with sexual pleasure and with coming. Okay, the fourth thing to keep in mind when attempting to give her a nipple-gasm is her menstrual cycle. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, it's not scary. It's actually like one of the coolest and most beautiful things about women. And in this case, it can actually help you out quite a bit. You see, in many women, nipple sensitivity is closely linked to menstrual cycle. Generally, the closer she is to ovulating, the more sensitive her nipples become. This is great because generally, the closer she is to ovulating, the more of a thirsty, horny beast she is, and the more likely it is that she wants to jump all over you and ride you until the cows come home. So it's a perfect time to start experimenting with nipple play. But you should also know that the opposite can be true. And there are also women for whom their nipples are most sensitive and most able to reach climax right before they menstruate, while they're on their period, and at other times of the cycle. Basically, the more that you experiment, the more that you will learn. And the more that you learn, the more easily you'll know when is the best time to go for the nipple-gasm and when it's gonna feel best for her based on where she is in her cycle. How cool is that? Before we officially crown you king of nipple play, there's a couple other things just to keep in mind. Number one, if she has nipple piercings, this may affect her sensitivity. She may be more hardwired for pleasure, which is great, or it actually might be more painful for her to play with her nipples. So make sure that you communicate around those piercings and understand how having her nipples pierced has affected her. 2, if she has breast implants, this could also affect her sensitivity levels, more likely to make her nipples less sensitive. And then 3, if she's pregnant, that also can affect her sensitivity. So keep that in mind. Number 4, if she's breastfeeding or she's recently been breastfeeding, that also can change her entire relationship with her nipples. A lot of women's nipples become painfully sensitive when they're breastfeeding. They can even become sore, scabby, they can get traumatized from improper latching of the infant. Just remember, it's actually never too late. And once she's done breastfeeding, playing with and bringing loving, gentle, and sensitive tenderness to her nipples may be a part of her nipple healing process. How cool is that? Overall, nipple orgasms are amazing and they can be an incredible way for you to add new dimensions and novelty to your bedroom routine and give her an incredible sexual experience. Remember to be patient, creative, super aware of what's going on in the moment. And I actually teach all of this and how to be an epic lover in my female orgasm, pleasure, and masterclass. It's called She Comes Too. And in this course, I walk you through step by step exactly how to give a woman the best sexual experience possible, no matter how inexperienced you are, no matter how long you've been together, no matter what your skill set is. Even if you think that you already are an absolute Don Juan, check out the course. You can always learn something and bring that into the bedroom to give her an even more incredible experience. Make yourself more memorable and legendary to her. Also, it comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. So if you are truly an epic lover and you don't learn a dang thing from me, kudos to you. Just kidding, but do. You can get your money back, no questions asked. It's my promise to you that this course is truly my masterpiece, and I want you to have it. I want you to check it out. It covers so much more, and it gets a lot more X-rated than anything that I could ever show you here on YouTube. I actually do displays with my hands and my mouth so that you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can put that into practice immediately. Got my plug-in in just the nip of time. All right, I think that about does it. Have fun in nipple land and be sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Let me know in the comments what other nipple tricks have worked for you. I always love to see what you have to share with me. I'm Caitlin B, and I'll see you here next week. Mwah! Bye.